Kelly, welcome to the Dr. Tom Show. I'm so excited to have you on. You really do make such a great impact in your community. I've been down to your practice. I love what you stand for. And you know what I really love is how passionate you are for what you do. And not just for what you do in your profession, but how that can actually have an effect on humanity. So thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I feel like a bit of a kid in a sweet shop, really. And I've been listening to your podcast over the last couple of weeks, and they've been really great and very inspiring, very uplifting and very positive. So thank you for having me here.
Brilliant. I actually feel like a kid in a sweet shop. So I love that. I'm just beaming and you're beaming. So this is going to be a really, really good show. For anyone who is listening to this on the podcast, check out the YouTube just to see these smiles because they are amazing. So we were talking before the show, and I love that you stand for something, and you used a great word. You used the word vital. You said chiropractic is vital for families, and I'd like to jump straight in there and really understand what you mean by that and build some context around it.
I do. I feel that word is quite a strong word, but we use that deliberately here in the practice, because if you know what we know about how health comes from us, where it comes from, then you understand its importance in life. And if you know its importance in life, the best time to start that, or the best time to start that really is preconception, I guess, but is from the super early days. So for us, with families, that is the majority of the people that we would see, they see the difference in their children's health. And if people are healthier, it's not just about how they feel in themselves, but how do they function in society? How do we create this community of loving, kind, well-functioning people? And we do that from being the best version of ourselves. And chiropractic for us it's a vital part of the jigsaw. It is a part of a jigsaw, but it is a vital part of the jigsaw. You cannot be optimally healthy without it. But likewise, if you don't eat well and you don't take care of your thoughts and hearts and things, then you also won't be well. But it's essential to bring all that together. So yeah.
And I love the way you said that. You started off the health is essential. If you ask this question's been said loads, but if you ask a pregnant mum, what would you rather have, a boy or a girl? The most common answer is, I don't mind so long as they are healthy.
Yeah.
And chiropractic is a huge part of that. Let's start with adolescent, child, and work our way back. Because I love the fact you said preconception. I love that. So I want to get into that. But let's start off with, let's say, an adolescent. What can chiropractic do for an adolescent? Why is it important?
Well, I mean, you can, obviously the neuro guys are going to tell you the ins and outs of things, but for us, we have children, or young girls, particularly girls, that come in and they don't talk, they don't engage, they don't look at the front desk. That's how they function in life. And so the parents will bring them in because usually another family has said, go and get her checked out. And we have parents who would email us when they're not in the practice with their teenagers, girls and boys, to say, to update us or to ask questions, because the children or the young adults, the adolescents couldn't function with that level of input. And then within 2 or 3 weeks of being regularly checked, they are like different people. They come in, they're bringing in pictures to show the CAs of what they've done at their artwork. They're winning awards for their rowing that they would never normally do. They're helping other kids. So it's not a measurable thing in terms of, can we put this into a box and tick things of how does chiropractic help that child? But if you look at that overall lifestyle improvement that they have had and the confidence they have, because we believe their body's well connected, so therefore they can function well and as they are designed to.
And what an impact that has in their future, because if you're going into, let's just say, the workplace, you're going into the workplace and you have an inability to make that eye contact or to stand up confident and share your opinion, then that's really going to change your opportunities in the future. So what an amazing profit that has.
100%.
You've been 10 years, did you say you've had your practice?
10 years we've had this place for, yeah.
So you must have seen people through that journey, is that right?
Yeah.
How does that feel to see someone go from, I don't know, like a baby or from a struggling child to getting into their teens and really progressing? How does that feel?
Do you know, for me, it's the most favourite part of practice. because when I spoke at the UCA a couple of years ago, because you're in it all the time, it's not we don't appreciate it, but sometimes it can be difficult, as you know, to take that 10,000 foot view, because you're in it, you're in down and dirty with it. And when I did a slideshow for the talk, and it just had pictures of the kids, and we have pictures of those children from 3 weeks old to 3 years to 5 years to 8 years, and that impact for me. And when we were doing that, it just made me cry, because you just think like the difference that has on their lives and their families' lives is sensational. It's.
And do you think so? Chiropractic obviously connects people. It gets them functioning to their optimum ability. We know the brain, the nervous system, and that's what we're working with chiropractic. Also, something a little bit deeper, their innate potential, and that unquantifiable. How much is, because you've got a great community practice. Like, for instance, you've got an incredible library down in your practice that shares. Yeah. How important is community to somebody's healing as well?
It's essential. Like it's the community that we have in our practice is, they feel really invested. If we have a new person join the team, everybody wants to know about them, because it's almost like they feel like they own part of the practice. And then the same people come to the picnics, the birthday picnics, or the client appreciation breakfast, or they come to the same workshops. And, I've got people, they're tagging each other on Facebook in health posts. And I'm thinking, how do they know each other? And then I'm like, oh, wow, they met at the practice. And like-minded parents get together and they realise that they're not alone. And again, that gives us more confidence to make better health decisions, because when we step out of our practices, the world has a lot of different information thrown at us. So for us, it's that community built from empowering people to be strong in what they feel is right for their family.
And you mentioned their health decisions. So if we took 2.4 kids, family, like what are some important health decisions that they could make? What are some simple tips that they can implement, or for professionals listening, chiropractors listening, what could they impart to their communities? What are some really important health decisions people can start with?
So you mean like things to advise families to do?
Yeah, things to advise. So obviously chiropractic is one of them.
Yeah. But turn the TV off, sit down and have a conversation, because we're all guilty of it. We don't have grannies normally or aunties to babysit quickly when we need to do something. So the TV or the screen time or whatever it is, and it is part of our society, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think we have it on a lot more than we need to. So the dialogue and the communication gets lost. And often that's a missing art. Like, people don't really know how to talk to each other. So I think turn the TV off and mirror what you want the children to be doing. So mirror reading. So if Liam and I read, the children will read a lot more. With the big kids now currently reading like the third time Harry Potter this morning, because that's what they're doing at the moment. But I think that's a really key thing. And having dinner together. It might not be possible every day, but certainly there will be one day a week. Or if it's not dinner, have breakfast. Or create their own community within their house, because I think people feel that they're missing that social community, they're missing that interaction, and we're looking at externally for it, but often we just need to start at home.
So true. And innately, we're pack animals. We're designed to interact and contribute to our herd and release these endorphins from doing so. And we're recording this during the, and I don't like to mention it too much because I think it gets too much, during the COVID issue right now, where a lot of us are isolated from our families. The benefit I have seen in that is that there has been some great connections with families within it. They've been forced to do that. They run out of Netflix things to watch. They're bored with the TV or their computer games. So actually contributing as families, and that's a real positive that's come out of it.
This is, I feel that this is, we wouldn't really talk about it much either, but this is a brilliant health opportunity for the world at large. And I feel quite excited by it. I'm not taking away the negative things that are around it at all, because it's serious. I don't mean health-wise, I mean implications of what the actions are. But the amount of people that have told me what a gift it's been to physically be completely out of their practice just for a couple of weeks, to do things that they would never normally do because they half dip into it because they're busy doing other stuff. And I think that slowness has created those connections as well.
It's true, isn't it true? It has slowed the pace of life, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love looking in the skies. Do you remember when we were kids, you used to look in the sky and you never saw a plane?
Yeah.
And we've got so used to just seeing loads, and now it's clear and it's like, wow.
We live not too far from Heathrow, so it's now when we see a plane, the boys are going, oh, there's a plane, look, where do you think they're going? And it's amazing because 4 weeks ago the sky's littered with them all the time. So yeah, it's quite an interesting, special time.
And it is important for us to reflect and change habits to move forward, like really change habits. And I suppose this is we can link this in with that preconception idea that you spoke about earlier, how important it is to be looking after ourselves preconception wise, because it's our healthy habits, it's our lifestyle that has an effect on our epigenome, our genetics, and therefore how that's into health and into the future, which I assume maybe is where you were getting at with the importance of preconception care. So just explain to me what you mean by care preconception.
Really, that the parents are functioning optimally before they consciously decide to create that new baby, really, or new life force. So, we started to see we saw lots of kids in practice when we first opened here, and the parents weren't in care, and we were seeing them because they'd had really bad births, basically, really challenging births, and they weren't doing well. And so you can only see so many of those situations before you go, hang on a second, this is, for us, it's quite reductionistic because it's the end point. So what do we need to do? So then we go back to, well, actually, if we were seeing these mums and dads during the pregnancy, then the likelihood of that birth being that way, because the mums might have access to different information, they're functioning much better, mechanically much better, but neurologically, more importantly, much better. So they are functioning better to have better births. And then once you start to do that, you think, well, why are you waiting until they're pregnant to see them? Surely if people were as healthy as they could be when that baby's conceived, because we know by 3 weeks post-conception that baby has everything it needs in its entirety to develop, it doesn't get anything else added to it. So 3 weeks, it's not much of a chance. Most people don't know they're pregnant. It's like, whoa, and then they've got 9 months when they do this, or 10 months, amazing thing, and then the first year of life, and you just think, if your start point there is already significantly elevated, how much healthier is that potential?
And I think I got this on a course I was with you. Like that, if it's a female, that baby is born with all the eggs for its life. So it's not one generation, it's not the next generation, but it's like double, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and it goes back and back and back. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Extraordinary.
You start to think that, it's like, what? It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
It's incredible. I find it incredible. And it just shows how amazing this vessel is of ours, this human body, this expression of life. And in this form, we only have one expression. So, why wouldn't we make it the best expression possible? I say to myself every morning, today is not repeated tomorrow. The chance to actually enjoy the moment doesn't come back. So, surely
absolutely,
yes, we can to do that, for sure.
Absolutely. And it's not, sometimes it's not like, I always think when I listen to these brilliant podcasts of these people, it's not like we don't have days where we're not, on it. Of course not. We're real humans, and I think that's all part of it, to have that peaks and troughs. But the more we can live congruently and connected, the peaks and troughs are more balanced.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. And I suppose some of the stuff we're talking about is alien to a lot of people, and it is different. But there might be someone listening to this, the power of the podcast, somewhere in the world where they're surrounded by a community that doesn't feel the same way as them and doesn't agree with them, and that can be very difficult. And oftentimes it's family that butt up against who have a different opinion. And what I love is that you and Haley, a friend of yours, have created a really great forum to help people with this. And and it's called Health from the Inside Out. Do you want to explain a little bit about that? Because I think that's a really powerful tool for people.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, Tom. Yes. So Hayley and I, a couple of years ago, I've wanted to work with Hayley for a long time, do something together. And we were out having Christmas cocktails, just the two of us actually. And we were like, come on, let's just do this. And it came from a real desire to help people like we can help each other, like how we can support each other. And we're fortunate, you know, we, like yourself and Sarah, like we live congruently in our families, but not everybody has that situation. And so we would get lots of emails, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp messages from friends, and also many people we don't know, asking for advice really about health, either with kids or for themselves, particularly female health, that kind of thing. And so we just said, you know, more people, we need to be able to help more people, and one-to-one is pretty tricky. So we set up this forum. It's a very community-based virtual platform, and once a month we have a guest speaker from around the world who has the same thought process as us in terms of health, and they can cover everything. I mean, it's a whole massive broad spectrum of speakers, but all inspiring. And then during the time when we're not on the call, so they get to ask people to speak the call. So our first call this coming year is going to be with Sarah Farrant, and people can just email questions ahead. She'll answer them. It's like us hanging out now and having a chat. And then in between times, what we've found has happened is people will post questions on there. So they'll be like, oh, this has happened. You know, like, has anyone experienced this? What would your advice be? Any ideas of how I can navigate it? And the really key thing about it is it's not an alternative platform. So to coin Sarah Farrant's term, the alternate platform, it's not like, I don't want to take the drug, so let me take the natural remedy. I don't want to do this, let me do that. It's the step behind that. So it's like, well, we create health, so why have we created it, and what can we do to support ourselves, and where might we not be supporting ourselves, as opposed to let's just take the arnica for something. Now, it's not that I'm not anti those things, but it's not what I do. So I want people to know that there is another option. You don't have to do medical or the alternative. There's a third option there for us if we want to live congruently.
I love it. And the ripple effects of that are so far reaching, and that's what I love about what you do. It's not just for you and your community, you're pushing out to really try and change things, which is brilliant. And I really appreciate you adding that value to us today on the show. So if people want to find out a bit more about you or about Health from the Inside Out, where can they go? What can they do to find out some more?
They can go to our website, hayleyandkelly.co.uk. Hayley's Hayley, and I'm Kelly, sort of thing. And we actually we are launching this month a 3-month trial, because there's a lot of people that don't know if we're for them, don't know if it's fitting for them. So if people want to go and sign up, they have a 3-month trial. They get Sarah Farrant's call in that trial. They get to be part of the community to test it out, if you like. And if they love it, they're welcome to stay. And if they don't love it, they're welcome to leave with love until they're ready. So so thank you for that.
I love that. So we'll definitely put a link to that in the show notes for sure, so people can have a look into it. Kelly, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today. You've been marvellous and so insightful. Is there any top tips or pearls of wisdom that you'd like to leave our audience with?
Just to be brave. Be brave when you know what you know. And, I think if we all just were brave and honest when we spoke, we would change the world.
I love that. I can't add anything to that. It's amazing.
But thank you for all you do, Tom, as well. Thank you for doing these. Thank you for all the contribution you give to the profession behind the scenes and up front as well. We're very grateful that you've been so proactive with these. So I'm very honoured to be on here, but grateful for you for the work you do, and Sarah as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm glad you mentioned Sarah, because it wouldn't happen without her either.
I hear that a lot, which is good from you, which is nice.
Kelly, thank you ever so much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Love and appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.